Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the things you should know before you say yes to any man's marriage proposal. So here we go. Alright, the first thing you should know is obviously more about this guy. Who is he? Where does he come from? What is he into? Just get to know, obviously, your potential partner first and foremost. You need to know if your interests coincide with his. Are you guys compatible? Blah, blah, blah. You know, this is the basic things that you need to know initially. And also, in my personal opinion, unless there is some type of special reason why you haven't met or gotten to know his family for the accepting the marriage proposal, there should be no reason why he hasn't introduced you. You should, before you accept his proposal, be introduced to his family, see if you meld with his family, if his family... Let me tell you something, you don't want to get in no family where they hate you and they're malicious and they're petty. Like, you don't want to deal with that. So make sure you meet the family, and also meeting the family gets you in a place where you know what type of family you're becoming a part of. An important part of the marriage process before accepting a proposal is to meet the potential husband's family. It's very important. Don't forget this part, because you could be going into a family of hellions. They could be straight evil and you don't even know it, because you didn't meet the family until right before the wedding. The next thing is you need to make sure that this man has the strength in his iman needed to lead a wife and a family. Now, a man who has weak faith is different from a woman who has weak faith when it comes to making a family, because the man leads the family. He is the head of the household, and his responsibility is to get his family to paradise, inshallah. And that's not to say that the woman shouldn't have strong iman as well, but usually if your husband's strong in his faith, you will follow suit, and so will the children. So it's important to make sure that his level of iman is strong, and at best it is average, and he's willing to improve, if you get what I'm saying. So that's a very important step as well, and something that you need to know about before you say yes. If you guys are both of different ethnicities and from different places, you should test the waters and see if that person is sensitive to the issues within your culture. For example, I'm a black woman, so I probably should have made sure that my potential husband, or my husband now, you know, was aware of social issues regarding the black community and was sensitive to that and understood certain things that were offensive to that community. So that's what you should do as well, because you don't want it to be a point of contention later in your marriage. So test the waters and see what he thinks of certain things regarding social issues in your community. I mean, it's not the hugest thing in the list, but it is important. You should also make sure you know whether or not he has children or wants children in the future. Now, I've seen so many instances where the female wanted children, but the male had already had children, and she didn't get the children that she wanted, or vice versa. You have to make sure that, obviously, if you want children, he wants children, and you guys are on the same page with that. And if you don't want children, you know, he might want children, so check up with that, make sure you're on the same page. And obviously you need to know if he has a kid or not. I mean, that's really important to know, you know. If you're going to be a mom prematurely, that would be something that you probably want to know beforehand. You should also find out what his ideas are on a woman's place in a marriage. Does he think you're always supposed to be in the kitchen cooking? Does he think you're always supposed to be serving him? Or does he just want a partner who's there for him and supports him and, you know, is there to comfort him when he needs comfort? and all of that. Like, you need to find out what he expects from you as a wife beforehand, because you don't want to get married and then all of a sudden he's the type of man that wants you to be his servant 24/7. That's not going to be a good look. It's not going to be enjoyable. Just make sure you understand what he wants from you in your marriage, inshallah. You would also want to find out if he's kind towards women and does he speak kindly of women. Now, there are a lot of guys who you can tell a lot about their character and a lot about how they feel about women by the little stuff that they say when talking about a woman. There are guys who very lightly call women the B word, call them sluts and hoes and all of that, and these are warning signs. If you hear a man easily calling this girl and that girl a hoe and, you know, like, just basically blatantly disrespecting women for no good reason, that's a big red flag, because it shows his respect or lack of respect thereof for women in general. You also want to know what is his financial plan for the future. Now, I know this society has gotten all progressive and everybody, or not everybody, but a lot of people want this situation where the woman works and the man works, and that's cool and dandy, but even if you're working, it shouldn't be to provide for your household, because Islamically, I mean, there's nothing wrong with you helping, but Islamically, that responsibility is on the man. His responsibility is to provide for you and your children for the rest of your lives, inshallah. So you have to make sure that he has his financial goals on the up and up, and that you are going to be properly cared for throughout your life. So it may sound very materialistic, but honestly, it's security. You want to know that you're going to have a secure future. And if he has no goals and no ambition, it may be an issue later on, and how about we just avoid that issue altogether? Alright, so the next thing you want to know about is where he thinks you guys will live after you get married. Now, if you're a younger girl or a girl who's used to being near her family or close to her family, it's going to be very important for you to know where he wants to go after you get married. Does he want to go across the country? Does he want to go to a different country? Like, it's important to know these things, because you need to know what to expect and you need to agree upon what's going to happen in you guys' future. So it's definitely a talking point. It's something that you should address as soon as possible. Now, one of the controversial things that you should know before you get married is, will he ever, if any time soon, want another wife? Well, now, don't go crazy. If he adamantly wants another wife, right, and you know that's not something you want for yourself, maybe you shouldn't marry that particular guy, okay? Now, I would not suggest putting it in your marriage contract that you do not want a co-wife with a man who's adamant about getting a co-wife, okay? Because that's going to be a point of resentment, a point of contention, all those things. Find a guy who's not interested in that, and then just for extra security, put that in your contract that no, you cannot marry another wife while you're married to me. Alright? And if you don't mind it in certain situations, then you can put stipulations in your contract that this can only happen under these circumstances that I list below. You know what I'm saying? So make sure he's not that type of person if you're not the type of person who wants to be in that situation, because you don't want it to come however many years later and he's like, okay, you ready for round 2? And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, no, that's not happening. And me personally, that's not something I see in my future. So you can guess what I did. Make sure you ask, even if he seems like, no, he wouldn't be that type of guy, da da da. And I'm not saying men who marry more than one woman are bad people. I'm not saying that. Anyway, even if you think he's not that type of guy, make sure you ask, because if you don't put it out there, you can't be angry later if it comes up. You know what I'm saying? Alright, and the last thing that I find very important, and judge me as you will, but I truly believe that no matter who you are, even if you're both virgins and all of that, you should get blood tests before you get married to make sure that person does not have any STDs or, you know, anything crazy going on with them. You should get blood tests, because only Allah knows what that person did before they came to marry you. And it's not a fact of not trusting that person, it's just being safe and smart with your own body and your own self. You know what I'm saying? So I personally recommend that if you're going to get married to someone, do a blood test, please. Please, because I've heard all these horror stories about sisters marrying brothers that went and got married to other women on the DL and then them getting STDs. Like, that's not cute. Like, or you guys know that today the F-boy count is on swole. Like, it's so many guys who have done all kinds of crap with other girls before they come to get married to you. So be smart. Even if he says that he's a virgin, virgins can get STDs too, okay? And they can do other things, even though I don't consider that virgin. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. That was the last thing I wanted to say, and I hope you guys found this video helpful. And for those of you who are in the process of getting married and you're in the interviewing phase, these are some staple things that I would be concerned about during this stage. So make sure you ask your questions no matter how embarrassing you think they are, because it's better that you ask embarrassing questions than to be surprised by something that you don't like later on when you're married. You don't want to deal with things that you didn't discuss. You don't want to deal with bad situations just because you didn't discuss them or were too scared to discuss them during the interviewing process. And if someone has a problem with you asking any question that you have to ask, then they can skedaddle, okay? This is your whole life ahead of you, inshallah. This is the person you're supposed to be spending your life with. You need to know everything that you feel like you need to know so that you can be comfortable in your marriage and marry a good person, inshallah. So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you liked this video, if you enjoyed it and want more videos like it. And also, please subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying my media that I'm putting out. I'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum and peace out.